Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I am very happy to be here today because that means we are wrapping up the year 2020 and going into 2021 and praying after the first few months of 2021 that we just finally start improving and moving forward. So yeah, it's been a crazy year. I'm going to go ahead and set up my 2021 annual budget. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you consider subscribing, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and stick around. I do budget videos for the most part, but I also do faith-based videos, which is why my channel name is Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning. So I do a little bit of both. They're both very important to me, and I love talking about both. But one I do more than the other because one's my passion and my love, and the other is my passion and love, but it is only at certain times. So when I feel led by the Lord. So that's why I have that in there. Moving on from that, today is the 2021 annual budget, and I just want to get it ready before January. Today is December 20th, and I just want to set up the income and the expenses, all the titles, and then I want to put my budget amount and just kind of discuss where my thoughts are in the process of doing this budget. So what I'm going to do is actually pull these sheets out of my planner here because I want to be able to write without the rings in between. See if I can get these separated right. There we go. I also have not just the annual budget, but in another video, I'll be doing my sinking funds, and then I will be doing my emergency fund. Those are going to be two different videos. I will be showing those hopefully before January, but if I can't, right after the first of the year. So but right now, I just definitely want to get my budgets kind of solidified for the year and ready to move forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you guys in. I'm going to put this like this, and I'll start filling this in. And then this side, because I need actually 2 sheets to fill all my expenses in. We are a family of 4. We, pretty much all of us are adults. I have a 16-year-old and a 22-year-old in 4 days. Oh my gosh. And then me and my husband. So there's 4 of us that we all live together, and we all have expenses that are kind of put together in the budget. I help my kids because they may be adults or close to being an adult because they have autism. So they live with us, and we care for them and make sure that they have the best life that they can have. So here we go. Give me 1 second and I will zoom you guys in. Okay, I am back. So what we're going to start with, let me find my pen here. I was hiding it on myself. Is I like to use a Frixon erasable 07 pen for the most part. I have them in multiple colors for whatever mood I'm in, but I usually use the black the most often for my budget sheets. And I absolutely love this pen because I can erase what I've done and rewrite the numbers. It may look a little messy, but it's still worth it to me, and I don't mind that. I don't have to have perfection. Oops, there's my red one. But I wanted to also show you I have this 038 Frixon erasable pen as well. And it's got a very fine point. So there's a couple options here. Depending on what your writing style is, if you're looking for erasable, this is perfect. And it's perfect for this kind of project because you can erase the numbers if you make a mistake. So I'm getting my notes over here I have off to the side. So what I'm going to do is you're going to see me write down all the categories. And I'm going to fast forward through that. And then we're going to go back and talk about the numbers. So here we go, getting started. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So here is my sheet all filled out. Now you see these different spaces. What I had done was I kind of categorized what was most important, what I wanted to know, what we were going to spend our money on. If you don't see something I normally spend money on, it's because I really wasn't, I may not have it in the new year, or some point during the new year I won't have it, or I was not interested in finding out how much. This is just a budget. This is just me to get an idea for our annual expenses and what we annually need to budget for. Now, what I have come up with in a system here, I'm grabbing one of my red pen here, and it's a Frixon as well, is I'm going to put a dot next to things that I can live without. Most of the stuff is all in my expenses. You can see them every month. There's not much variation, but like I didn't leave every dollar in because I don't plan to continue it after June, so I didn't think it would be necessary to put it in here. I don't think I forgot anything, but the cool thing is I did leave spaces in between. I can always add it in later if I need to, and then come up with what the annual budget, and because these are erasable, I can change the numbers here at the bottom, which is kind of awesome. So here we go. This side is mostly fixed. Everything here I have to fixed, not in the sense in the amount, but fixed that I have to pay, that I have to have. These are insurances. These are vehicle registrations. This is your home. These are mostly your four walls. What your income's coming in. Over here, there's flexibility. There's flexibility in this section here because this section here is mostly subscriptions, and I can be flexible in that area. One area I will not be flexible in that section is the internet, Verizon Fios, because my husband works from home over the internet, and we don't know how long that's going to keep happening. And then my son in high school has to be online school as well, either full-time or part of the time, depending on the COVID numbers. So that's that. This can be flexible or go away altogether. The prepaid Go card is my husband's personal money. He prefers to do a swipe a card than, because most of the stuff he wants to get is online anyway. So he just orders stuff and then there you go. The Visa, we have a few transactions that go on and off that we pay every month to keep a credit score. Yes, I follow Dave Ramsey, but yes, I do think we need a credit score, but I do not think we need debt. So that has to be paid off every month. And I do want to keep a credit score because in the future, I have a feeling we may have to move and sell our house and find a new place to live. I pray that we don't, but I want to be prepared for that. And I want to have a decent credit score for myself and my husband when we do that. And that's how that's going to work. It's just the world we live in. Yes, you have to have credit to make things easier with the bank because you got to play by the rules. But no, you do not have to have debt. And that's the difference. Credit, you don't have to live with debt, but you can live with a credit score. But you have to be very disciplined to do that. And so I caution anybody, if you cannot handle a credit card right now, you cannot be disciplined enough to pay it off and not carry debt, then I do not recommend you carrying a credit card. But I do recommend that if you can handle it, but as soon as you carry a balance forward that, to the next month, get it paid off and get rid of it again because you're not disciplined enough. Or just make sure you don't go back. I mean, you know you better than anybody. So that's what I want you to trust. And I want you to pray about it. I want you to go to God towards it. Just figure that out. Because that's just a sticky road if you don't have credit. And if you do have credit, and a credit score or a FICO score or whatever, it's a slippery slope that you have to be very careful and disciplined in. These categories, can be adjusted for the year. I put the average of what we did this past year. And so that works out pretty good. But grocery, household, and restaurants can always be lowered a little bit. Miscellaneous, that could probably go away if I had to, but it just depends on how we spend. And so I don't really want to. Gasoline, I will not change. That's because we have to drive. We have to be able to drive where we need to get to for job or whatever. And if we're allowed to go back to work and we have to start driving again, then I want to make sure those numbers are accurate. Sinking funds, that's an adjustable thing. We don't have to put money aside for things, but I do put money aside for annual expenses. So I don't expect to lower that at all. Bible studies, that's a flexible thing, and tithing and offerings. If you lose your job and things like that, that's, obviously going to be adjustable, but I would not sacrifice tithing and offering because we prosper because we tithe and offer, because God blesses us, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, physically. So many things are changed. Marriages are healed, families restored, children and families, parents working together. It's an amazing thing, but you have to walk the process and you have to be in your heart committed into that. And that's something you walk out with God. So tithing and offering, it can be adjusted and lower, especially if God tells you not right now, slow down or cut back, and he lays that heavy on your heart, then obey whatever God tells you. But until then, I'm just going to keep doing what we do unless my husband loses his job. And then I would definitely, because there's nothing to tithe off of because no income's coming in, then yeah, that's what that is. So I'm going to put a little red dot by the things I know I can probably get rid of and live without, and make adjustments from there. This, like I said, I'm going to keep these things as well. There we go. And here I'm going to put an arrow going down and down. And that means I can lower the amount. And then this one, I'm going to lower the amount if I had to. These are just reminders for me. This can be altered. This can be altered. And again, with the Lord, I would figure that out with him. So this side is something that can be changed. This side cannot, because this is how we live. Now the mortgage may change if we sell our house and we have to rent. That's fine. But the rest of it is pretty standard, and you really have to make sure you have. So I'm going to zoom you in and show you, put my pens away, the amounts that I'm going to budget for the year. And we're going to go through that step by step. And I will be right back. Okay, here we go. So these are annual budgets. So I took the monthly minimum and multiplied it by 12. That's how you get your annual. That's what you either bring in for income for 12 months or what you are spending for 12 months. And the goal is to make sure this total income is higher than your total expenses. If your expenses are higher, then you're going to have to find areas and ways to cut back in that dollar amount. So that's what we're going to do and look at today. So let me get my numbers here. And I kind of have my notes off to the side so I can write this. All right, so military retirement. My husband, unless the cost of living goes up and the government increases this and has the funding to pay this, this is what we're expecting. Let's see here. $17,684.77. So this is what we got in the year 2020. And this is what I expect for next year, but it may actually go up like 1-2% if there's an adjustment from Congress. So there's that. VA disability, that is the same every month. Again, if that goes up a little bit by a few dollars, that would make the difference on what these two numbers are. But this year he got $25,595.52. Now my husband is retired Navy. He did 20 years in the Navy. This is after our medical, dental, and vision are taken out, and taxes are taken out of his retirement check. So his retirement check is only just over $1,400 a month that comes to our bank account. But there are other things that are taken out. Oh, also we have SGLI taken out because that's an insurance where if he passes before I do, and I would lose his monthly retirement. But if we pay into his SGLI for a certain period of time, which is a spouse thing. I don't know what the acronym stands for. But all it means is I get 55% of his retirement that he's getting currently at the time of death. And I get that for the rest of my life. So there's just a little bit of added insurance of what I would be getting going into the future if he passes before I do. And we're comfortable with that. So once the SGLI is paid to its max, then we would get whatever paying into it back. And of course, the medical will always come out of that. So that's just how we have it set up. VA education, this is probably 1 or 2 more years. I think 2022, because my husband's going to go from 2 classes to 1 classes, and they're 8-week classes for his education for his master's degree program. This year he brought in, finishing his bachelor's, going into his master's degree, $7,762.76. These are deposits made from the VA education benefits for the post 9/11 GI Bill. This is including housing. They added housing into it when COVID hit for online students, even if you were not, because everybody had to go from brick and mortar to online. Even if you were already online 100% anyway, you got the housing allowance as well as the other benefits. They just did it across the board, which was kind of interesting. So it brought that number really high this year. Salary and overtime. So I am taking 0 overtime, guessing, because we don't know how much time he will be traveling for business out to sea with the Navy. He's a contractor for the Navy through a company. And so he's a civilian contractor on a ship. But the salary we're expecting after taxes, after putting into his Roth 401k, I think it is, where he does investments based on his salary. So that comes out, and anything else we have taken out of that one. This is what's left that we're bringing home to the bank account every month. So this is not all the money he makes, but this is what is left that comes home. So $59,007.91. But that's not his salary. That looks like a 6. Sorry about that. Let me see. I smeared it. I should have dabbed. I have to dab before I erase because it'll smear. Let's see if I can get it all done. There we go. A little better. That's okay. Rent. My son pays us rent. He gets SSI for his autism, and we keep a majority of it to cover his groceries and put towards utilities. We make no money off of this. This is just his portion, and this is how SSI works. And SSI is social security income, because he cannot find a job or he cannot work because of his intellectual disability. And the rest of it he gets to keep. So $7,968. I did get a notification in the mail that SSI went up $11 for cost of living in our area. I don't know if it's across the board or if it's just our area, because we've only done SSI with him for a couple of years. But that is the rent he pays us to offset the cost of all the other expenses. Now I'm going to put nothing for other and leave it like that. If I have other stuff or income, Etsy and stuff like that, where I do sell these budget sheets in my Etsy store. Right now, Etsy's just kind of paying for its own advertising through my sheets. So I'm building up a business, I'm building up a brand, I'm building up a product. I've only had the store for probably a few months now, and so it's very new to me. And once that starts coming in, then I'll add that later. But for right now, my advertising is covered by what I sell in the store. So that's kind of cool, which I'm fine with. I do hope to make a profit, hopefully soon. So we'll see. Mortgage. So the mortgage we're paying, this is mortgage homeowners insurance. Let me move this up a little bit. Mortgage homeowners insurance and property tax, escrow, all in one payment. What we're paying right now, in June, we'll find out if we paid enough in property tax or not. And then it may go up. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This year it did go up by $400. Well, we were short $400 from the previous year in 2019. And then in 2020, it went up a few dollars to compensate for that. So anyway, total this year, I'm estimating that we'll pay $23,520.96. Virginia Natural Gas, I took the average of the entire year of every month that we paid. I think this might be higher next year because we had a warmer year, I guess, longer into the season. So it was $780. I rounded it up in a few categories here just to make my life a little easier. Dominion Energy, I'm guessing, now natural gas is for the house, to heat the house, to heat the hot water, to whatever natural gas we need to use for. I do not have a gas stove. I do have a gas fireplace, and I use it quite a bit this year. That's why I think it's going to go up next year. Dominion Energy is $1,620 is my guesstimate. And that's because we have an air conditioning. It's a 2-story home, trying to keep the upstairs and downstairs cool. It's complicated. We are highly debating whether we'll get a dual system, climate control system, where we have the heating and air conditioning on separate floors, and we can heat just that floor. But it may be a few years down the road before we decide to do that, because that does cost money, and we'll see. It may not be worth it, but it might. I don't know. We'll see. HRUBS is Hampton Roads Utilities something something. But that's city utilities. That covers our water, sewer, trash, recycle, and yard waste pickups. And so it's a whole thing. And we pay it every other month. But this year we paid about $1,430. So Sprint, which is our cell phone, I took our current bill that we have, $285.45 for the month of December, and I multiplied that by 12 to give me an estimate. If we keep Sprint for the year, we have paid off all our phones. We might find a cheaper service, but I have not gotten into looking into that, so I haven't decided. But this is what we're spending for next year if we keep this service. $3,425.40. Landscaping. So I took the number of weeks that we would have typically a landscaper, or actually the guy that cuts our grass, come out, and that number of weeks that he would come out, and then multiply it by $65, which is his rate, to cut our yard, because I'm allergic to freshly cut grass. I cannot cut it. My kids aren't capable of doing it. And this is a guesstimation of $1,170. And I added an extra week on each end just in case we have warmer weather. Like, we went almost all the way into December cutting grass. It was crazy. The previous year, it was like the 1st of November before we stopped. So yeah, you just never know with the weather. Vivint is our home security system. We paid off all the equipment last year in 2019. This year, we only had to pay the service fee for arming the system with the 2 cellular lines that go with it, and fire rescue and the monitoring and all that good stuff. And then I think you get a terabyte of storage. Don't quote me on that, but it's an excellent system. I keep a code in my description box. A code in my description box below, so that if you are interested in Vivint, you can get $50 and I can get $50. I do get compensated for it, but that's up to you if you want to use it. And but it would be appreciated if you did. But I do recommend the system. I do like the system, and it's pretty awesome. So $674.56 is what I'm guessing for next year, and I think that's very reasonable for a year of home security after the equipment's paid off. That's the hardest part when people get home security systems. You've got to be diligent to pay off the security equipment, and that could cost $2,200 and up, depending on what you're getting. And we have a front door ring camera, not ring camera, but door camera. It's just like the ring camera, but it's Vivint's version. We get 2 cameras, that door camera, and then the backyard, we have a camera facing the whole backyard area. And then we have glass breaking sensors and little things on the alerts on the doors, 3 of our out exterior doors, and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah. Vehicle registration, that's an interesting one. I normally pay that in January. It's due in January. I forgot I needed to pay it in December. My husband came to me, oh yeah, you need to register your car. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guesstimated $75 for the year, and we're already past that because my husband decided to do a 3-year. The state of Virginia allows you to register your car for 1, 2, or 3 years. So he's like, I'm just going to register it for 3 years. It was cheaper, and I'm like, okay. So I'm going to make a note here, and it's going to say 3-year Armada, and we have no plans to get rid of it in the next 3 years. And it was $103.25. I'm going to put a plus sign here because we still have the Jeep. I'm going to put Jeep here. And once his Jeep is not really due until like June or July. So when I find out whether he does a 1, 2, or 3 year, he'll probably do another 3 year because his is cheaper than mine. And we'll pay it off in June or pay on it in June, and I'll put the total right there, and then I'll know exactly how much we spent for the actual. But I just wanted to make a note right here because we went ahead and did it this morning right before I did this video. So state inspection, I think last year it was $20 for each vehicle. It's $40. Son's medical insurance. So my son who has autism, who's 22 this week, oh my gosh, Christmas Eve. We do have to pay young adult, TRICARE, young adult. It is going up next year. Now I'm budgeting for what we planned this year, but it's going to be significantly higher, probably $1,000 more higher for next year. And I will just calculate that for next year because I cannot remember what the number is. And actually, I may not. Actually, let me check and see. I can look that up real quick. Okay, I am back. So TRICARE Young Adult plans for 2021. The previous year amount was $376, and you would see that in my budgets. And if I multiply it by 12, oh, that's why. It would have been $4,512 for the year, but now I'm going to change that to $459. It went up significantly. Not quite $100, but pretty close. Times 12, and that gives us $5,508. So 5,000. Oops. See, this is why I love an erasable pen. I'm already making mistakes again. All right, $5,508.00. Okay, so that's my son's medical. That's what's going right there. Yeah, I had the wrong number down because I forgot about the new annual premiums. But I don't mind paying it. We do not have custody over him, and we don't have guardianship, even though he has autism. As long as we can guide him and help him and he's with us, he can make his own decisions. He can vote. He is like any other 18-year-old out there. So we just take care of him and make sure he's okay. Not sure if that was the best idea. You can get something that's called incapacitated, and then we can have guardianship over him. And in the future, if it still looks like we might need that, we could put him on our insurance that way through the family plan. But for now, the young adult is the best. It's the TRICARE. We don't have to pay for his medicines, and he takes several medicines for his autism. This cost is minor compared to the cost of his medicine under any other plan. So we would pay out of pocket a lot. But this is how we cover them. And if we can get them covered under our insurance later, then that's fine too. So we'll see about that. Auto insurance, it went up a little bit from 103 to 107 and some change. So for the year, we are going to be paying, unless it goes up next year, $1,289.16. Life insurance is $1,050.72. ABC Healthcare, this is where my husband's CPAP supplies come from, and for a CPAP machine and all that good stuff. Last year we spent $253. This past year I spent $200 on allergy shots and allergy doctor's appointments, doctor visits, and stuff like that. So I'm going to switch to the next page here. Move this off to the side. And where'd it go? There it is. And we're going to just keep on going. So Amazon Music is my husband's subscription. I'll get on camera here. So that was $96. And he prefers it, so I just, okay. $71.88 is our CBS All Access for the year. And it's nice to see what subscriptions cost for an entire year. They may be nominal amounts, $5.99, $7.99, $2.99, whatever. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you see it for the entire year, it's like, wow, that's a lot. Sling is what we call our cable, and and we get all the channels we really want and enjoy and don't need more than that. So we spend $50 a month in that, and that's $600 for the year. Instant Ink is for me and all the printing I do for my son's school as well as my business. I don't have a separate business category yet because most of my stuff is digital, but I do print these sheets and show you guys online. So this is part of that, and it just comes out of the family budget for now until my business really picks up and starts moving. Then I'll have a separate business and home category. Until then, my husband's like, nah, just keep it with our budget. I'm like, okay. So $127.08, which is the $10.59 a month. Sometimes I go over a little bit, but that's okay. This is just a budget amount, not the actuals that I have to have. So this is what I'm guessing for next year if I can stay within the sheets that I plan that I subscribe to. Audible is $14.99 a month, and for the year that is going to be $127. Nope, wrong line. I'm repeating a number here. That's going to be $179.40. There we go. All right, iTunes, I pay $2.99 a month for a subscription of storage, which is enough for now, so it's $35.88 a year. Verizon Fios, one of my non-negotiables, is $992.52. That's about $87.21 a month, I think is what the actual, but it's really good. It's fiber optics, great quality, great service, so I'm good with that, and that's what we have in our area. My husband's prepaid Go card, that's his personal money. So this year, his personal money is like $100 on average, so that's $1,200 a year. Sometimes I take his VA education deposits and give that to him, but this is out of his actual income that he's actually bringing home. Visa, I put $510 because there's 2 subscriptions that go, or $515 go onto the card, except for over Christmas where I put a lot more when I'm shopping online. Sometimes I prefer to use the credit card and then just pay a lump sum and things like that. I have the cash. It's just maybe I don't want my credit card out there. I don't want my debit card out there. I'll just put my credit card out there to purchase certain things. Grocery household, on average in the year, we will spend $12,400 for grocery items. That's food that we eat, and household cleaning supplies, shampoos, conditioners, toothbrushes, toothpaste, other products that you may use on a regular basis. I have a son that uses dry mouth mouthwash every day, and another son that has to have a specific shampoo that has green tea tree oil in it and stuff like that. So those products. So that's grocery household. So it's for the house, filters for the house, or if it's, what else do we buy for the house? Just common everyday, if it's in a Walmart grocery market, Food Lion, Harris Teeter, grocery store, Kroger's, whatever, that if it's in that store, I can buy it, and I buy it with my groceries with my food, then yeah, that's what that covers all of that. So I combine grocery and household. That's why that number is really high. Restaurants is anywhere, going out to eat, delivery, drive-through, whatever. That for a year we budget $7,400. Miscellaneous, and this is just random stuff that we didn't think about getting. Amazon purchases mostly, Etsy purchases, miscellaneous stuff that happens once in a blue moon for your house, maybe just random stuff. You don't know where else to categorize it. I put it under miscellaneous. $6,720. Now the gasoline I'm budgeting is what I budget every year, which is $250 a month. That equals $3,000 a year. Even though we're working from home, schooling from home, we're not driving as much. That's what's going on. Let's see here. Now, at the bottom here, I have sinking funds, Bible studies, and tithing and offering. Why did I put Bible studies separate? because I want to make sure I have money for my Bible studies. I love it. I love it. I love it. So a lot of times I will buy on Lifeway the video versions, which are like $50, $60 sometimes, and go and watch them over and over again. Mostly Jen Wilkins or Lisa Harper or something like that. But I love Bible studies, and I try to budget about $100 a year for that. My church does Bible studies, and I'll do it with my church, which is $15 for a study, and that's including the book and the video and all that good stuff. So there's that. I'll go ahead and put the $100 there. Sinking fund. So that's my annual expenses for my City of Chesapeake for the house. So twice a year now, I've learned of $44.10 went to the City of Chesapeake for stormwater for the house. We have a lot of storms and drainage ponds and everything around us, so I guess that's to maintain those. I don't know. New homeowner, going into my second year now. I have no idea. Then I have property tax for the vehicle, both our vehicles, and whatever I paid in 2020, plus the stormwater, I add that all together, and that becomes the annual sinking fund for that particular sinking fund. I have about 10 or 12 sinking funds total, and when I do the sinking funds annual budget, you'll see the breakdown. But the total, I hope I have this right, estimate that I plan to do is $5,623.92. So this is any annual subscriptions that come up. I have one with Apple that has the Microsoft Office and Excel and PowerPoint and all that for the Mac. I have a subscription that comes out that's Disney Plus once a year through the Roku. I have, I put so much money away for vacation for next year because hopefully I want to take a vacation somewhere. I'm saving up for Christmas next year, mostly Christmas experiences. Hopefully we get to do something next year other than drive through Christmas lights, though I love drive through Christmas lights. What else do I have? Oh, my son's going to be a senior next year, so if he's a senior, I want to get all the senior stuff, and just like I did for his brother, and don't want to leave him out, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff, annual things, and then some of it is long-term, like I'm starting to say for a hot water heater. Hot water heaters have to be changed every 8 to 12 years. So if I put $20 away a month now for the next several years, every month, then I should have the money I need for a hot water heater in 8 to 12 years. So little things like that, maintenance stuff, car maintenance, you know, all that good stuff. That's what I'm going to do for the year, and that's going to cover those pop-up annual expenses as well as some long-term savings for future expenses. Tithing and offering. So tithing and offering is tithing to my church and offerings to other things that we tithe. So we have 3 main categories that we tithe every month to. First is our church from the salary portion, and I will pull, there it is. So the salary portion of this, we tithe to the church. Then we do a tithing off of the military retirement, and we do a tithing of the VA disability. So this is the church tithing, where we get the tithing from. This portion right here is our helping hands at church, and then this is the Greater Europe Missions, where we're supporting a family, a missionary family. It's a husband, wife, and 1 child so far, and they are over in Europe, and they just got there like right before Thanksgiving. So they are there getting ready to begin their missions and work in the communities and help with the churches that are already there and just be part of the reach out. And it's just going to be amazing and so much fun. I can't wait to see how things grow. So we tithe off those incomes. I do not tithe off my son's rent because it's not really income for us. It goes directly to the expenses here. So we make no money off this, but I do count it in the income section because it does come in. And then it offsets the cost down here. VA education, we have prayed about it, but God has not really assigned or led us because it's sporadic. So I think he's just letting us have it. But we do tithe other things, a gift to Christ every year. We did 2 this year, one with our church, one with my husband's cousin. in her business, and so many other things. So I'm guesstimating just on the military retirement, VA disability, and our salary tithings that we do for the year. Oops, I lost my page. There it is. Tithing and offering is going to be about $13,241. And yes, that's a lot of money, but God has been so faithful, so amazing, and so good. And like I said in the beginning, this is a faith-based channel, so I'll bring it up. The amounts have been assigned by God to us, and if he tells us to change it, we will. If not, we just keep it going the way he last spoke to us about it. We go into prayer. My husband, goes into prayer with God, and then he lets me know. And I go into prayer that he is being told by God, that kind of thing. And that's just kind of how we do things. It's amazing and beautiful. And actually, by tithing, even small amounts, when we first started our financial journey, it started to open our minds and our hearts in a way we never saw, and started healing our marriage. And if you're watching my other faith-based videos, you would see or hear me talk about how I've been praying for our marriage, praying for healing, and through difficult times for me and for him. And it's been amazing. So, if you're curious or wondering if somebody's experience with tithing is worth it, it's worth more than this amount of money that I put right here. That there's no dollar amount that could be any more worth than that. So anyways, I'm moving on from there. Do not want to preach. And if you don't tithe, giving is a great thing, and God blesses it. There are organizations, cancer societies, for cancer research, lymphoma, ASL or ALS, I think that's what it's called, autism, Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, I'm not saying them all right, March of Dimes, St. Jude, all of those organizations. I've given to a lot of them, and almost all of them at some point in some amount, and I'm not against any of that. And if you're not a faith-based person, that's okay. There are so many organizations out there that are amazing and good, and you can give to those. And having an open hand and an open heart allows room for more to come into you, and you be blessed. And it's just an amazing thing. Check out Kate Caden's channel. Her name is Kate Caden, and and she calls herself her followers the K Squad and all that. And she talks about giving, not in a faith-based situation, but just giving in general, and how it's amazing and has given so much back to her. And so check out her channel and see that, because I think it's great, and I totally agree with her that it's giving is amazing, and so much comes back in return. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take a break right here. I'm going to total all these ups. I'm going to take a break right here, and then I'm going to total all these up, and I will be back with the final numbers so you can see that. I'm only doing the budget column, obviously, because I only have a little bit in the actuals, and I'll deal with that next year. But this is what's going to start my year off for 2021. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So I've showed you numbers up close on what we're actually spending for what we're budgeting to spend, not actually spending. I don't know what we're going to actually spend next year. I've shown you areas where I've marked, where I've considered in the red dots or the arrow downs, that we can live without if my husband lost his job and we needed to go bare bones, and if we needed to just, cut things back. Where would I start cutting things back? And then, so let's look at the total. So my total income is $118,018.96, and we are below that, thankfully. And I'll zoom it in a little closer by bringing the paper up, and you can see that I am budgeting about $93,339.88 for what we should spend next year. And that's the budget, and hopefully we can stick with it. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's definitely below what he is potentially going to earn, as long as he does not lose his job and nothing goes down in income. So there's that. Let's figure out the difference between the income minus these expenses, and yeah, see what it looks like. $118,018.96 minus the $93,339.88, and we have a difference of $24,679.08. So I'll just bring that close to you. This is what the difference is from the income minus expenses. That is awesome. If we can save that money, $24,000, that would be enough to go into our starter emergency fund. I have $1,000 put aside already. So for the month of December, hopefully I can save that as well. And if my husband gets overtime, that's going to go into savings. So that's going to be pretty awesome, unless we need it for other emergencies like some roof leak or some kind of repair or whatever for the vehicles. Because we do own our vehicles, but they are 7 and 10 years old, I think now. One's 2010, yeah, that one's 10 years old, and then 2013, so that one's 7 years old this summer. So yeah, so this is what we have left, and you always want to try to have some wiggle room in your budget for those types of emergencies, because our vehicles have, well, mine has almost 100,000 miles. So it's a higher mileage vehicle. It needs the best oil it can get for oil changes. So that costs more. It's a big vehicle. So it needs 7, is it gallons? 7 quarts. 7 quarts of oil instead of 5 like most sedan vehicles. And, you know, there's going to be repairs. And we've done some good, like brakes are going to be changed, the drums, the rotors, the this, that, the other thing. So as they age, they need some TLC. So that's what we try. That's why we try to pay our cars off early or buy cash, because the repairs for those vehicles in the future, if you're still making a car loan or paying on a car loan and trying to do $2,000 or $3,000 repair a year, that's absolutely absurd. So yeah, that's ridiculous. I hate the fact that banks have really perpetuated the value of the vehicle higher when you first buy it, and then it depreciates so fast, and then these loans that last. I remember loans never going over 5 years on a vehicle, and you had a 2, 4, or 5 year loan, and now they're like common 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-year loans. I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's crazy. So this is our annual budget. This is what I will be looking at next year. So this time next year, you will see this again, and I will be closing this out. In a couple of days, I will be showing you my actual budget for 2020. And I'm going to go ahead and get this in my notebook, and I will show you the results of 2020. And they were pretty much on target. I didn't have as many categories. It was my first time doing an annual budget, so that was okay. Here we go. So yeah, I keep it in here with all my other sheets. Last year I actually did it in my Erin Condren notebook, so that's what you'll see next time. And yeah, so I am excited to get this done and over with, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.